first considering the question, do black people have a monopoly on oppression? I first have to think about what racial oppression was. And I think it was useful for someone to actually provide a definition of what oppression was. And I had to then think about Black Lives Matter and where it originated, which was the United States of America, and what racial oppression meant to people within America. And racial oppression in America is such a charged subject, a charged issue, that is a large part of the genetic makeup of the country in the United States of America. And earlier in 2020, we saw the explosion of the Black Lives Matter movement. And what we saw thereafter was it nearly spreading to different countries across the world. But what changed with BLM in America and when it reached Ireland was the articulation of racism and how racism affects black people here in Ireland. And I think for a long time, there's been suppressed sentiments in the black community here in Ireland when it comes to racism. We haven't been given a platform to talk about racism actively. In fact, for a while, when you did talk about racism, you're made out to be a paranoid individual who didn't know what you were talking about, because racism was something that did not exist here in Ireland. So the Black Lives Matter movement, when it reached Ireland, when it hit our shores, it translated itself in a different language, because the racial issues that we deal with are different to the ones that people in United States of America dealt with. So our expression of BLM was different than the expression of BLM that people in America are known to express. But getting to the question, do black people have a monopoly on racial oppression? So the first thing I kind of did when I thought about this was draw a dichotomy. For a monopoly to occur, economically speaking, it can happen naturally, it can happen inadvertently, or it can happen deliberately. Something can bring it about. I don't think black people actively coagulate their efforts to deliberately have a monopoly on racial oppression. But I think sometimes these things can naturally fall into place when considering the fact that for so long in Ireland, black people have not been able to articulate their feelings about racism because they haven't been given a platform to do so. So when BLM arrives, everyone is expressing how they feel. And in that very moment, due to the explosion, it feels as if a particular part of people are dominating the airwaves, but in actuality, it's a people who have not been allowed to talk, finally talking about how they feel. So I think things occurred inadvertently, which may give off the facade that people are deliberately trying to monopolize the conversation on racial oppression. But I think these are things that just naturally fell into place at particular times and give up a particular image, if you know what I mean.